Namaskar and welcome to Indian Diplomacy, show on India's national broadcaster Doordarshan about Indian foreign policy, India's international relations, and how the world is perceiving India's rise as it climbs to a higher level. Viewers, in this episode we are looking at India through international eyes, how the world, how the international community, how influential people around the world look at India and its developments. This special episode, I have with me 22 outstanding professionals from 6 countries: United States, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Spain and Ireland with me here in the studio. And these are content creators and social media influencers who have huge following in their respective countries and who are here on behalf of the Ministry of External Affairs, which is hosting them under the Public Diplomacy Division for a familiarization and an experiential visit of India. So folks, welcome to Indian Diplomacy and welcome to India. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, India, we say, is rising. Our proposition has been that there's something, an X factor about this country, and there is a buzz about it around the world. And you're all here because you're curious and because you have an interest in what's happening in this country and to see it for yourselves. So let me start by asking you, one of you to come in and talk about what you have seen so far while you have been in India, and what are its unique strengths that come to your mind from your impression, from your observations, and what is it that you think is taking this country forward the way you see it? Could we have someone come in, please?
Thank you very much. My name is Tim Durkin. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And I've spent a little time here in India, 3 months before this trip, and then about 2 weeks on this trip. And I think it's important to tell all my friends back home that all you need to do is to spend 10 minutes walking through any city in India, be it Hyderabad, Mumbai, New Delhi, to notice the sheer sea of humanity. The greatest strength of India is its people. Their ability to work together, to overcome, and to bring about new innovations is amazing. India is, I think you're number 1 now, number 1 in the world population. You've overcome China. You're nearing 1.5 billion people.
Yeah.
And everybody I've met so far is eager, they're excited. They are the greatest strength, the greatest asset that India has. And America has a lot to learn about how to bring people together like India does to overcome adversity, to work on big ideas. And India is just very well poised to be not only the leader here in Asia, but globally as well. So I'm blown away by just the sheer humanity of it and just how friendly everybody in India is. It's an amazing place. You got to get here.
Thank you, Tim. Our friend from the United States is saying that he's blown away by India, and of course it can be an overwhelming experience, and it's actually many people come here and fall in love with this country and become Indophiles over time, and write books and travelogues and memoirs, and of course in today's era also reels and shorts and all those things that these amazing people do on social media. I just want to take up one point about what Tim said about the numbers. Yeah, we are the most populous country. We also have probably the largest social media populace. The data as of 2024 shows that there are some 862 million, let me repeat that, 862 million social media users approximately in India, and that's around 60% of the total population. So I suppose there are equivalent number maybe in China, but because it's a closed authoritarian dictatorship, it's not open to the world like we are. So their social media is kind of walled off behind the bamboo curtain, so to say, but ours is an open one. So this is the largest open social media country in the world. So you are all content creators, and obviously you've been following what's happening in this country even before you came here, and more so while you are here. and I'm sure you have followers from India on your accounts and handles as well. So could somebody come in and reflect on what you think is happening with our social media scene and how you have been connected to it either through followers, or if you are following our content creators who are also quite popular around the world. We have a large English speaking social media community. These 862 million of course also include a lot of vernacular languages, but would someone like to come in and talk about what you've seen about our social media and what you think about our social media universe and how you can emote with it as content creators when you see a vibrant space like this, which is quite similar to what you have in your countries in the Western world. So would you like to come in on social media and what you are seeing?
Hi, I am Kyle Paul. I am from America, but I am semi-based in Mumbai right now. I didn't really have a social media until I got to India. And then I started collaborating with people here, and I was fortunate enough to get a larger following.
Wow.
But the diversity here in India, I mean, unity in diversity. I have collaborated with puppeteers, Vignesh, the puppeteer ventriloquist, Vipul Roy, he's TV host, actor, comedian. I've worked with Wake and Bite, 9 million followers, and they do food challenges. They just go around the world eating food, having challenges. If that's not diverse, I don't know what is. And I wouldn't have met those people unless I was in India. And I connect with so many people with India through these people that empathize with me without ever having met me. And that's,
it's virtual, the connection is virtual.
yeah, it's a virtual connection. I have people saying, hey, this one sentence you said was great. That encouraged me. And then other people being like, hey, you didn't like that chicken tikka? I don't like it either. I'm like, oh, okay, well, thank you for that. Or having vada pav. I've had people come up to me on the street in Mumbai being like, I love how you love vada pav. Like,
it's our burger, the equivalent.
Yeah, it's
the vegetarian burger.
Yeah, it's the street food. It's like the Mumbai dish. Yeah. It's almost anything people are eager to connect here, and they go out of their way to connect, and social media is making that easier for all of us, I think. Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle. Another friend from the US viewers is saying that India actually helps him expand his followers, and this is the market, right? I mean, it's not only, sometimes people think of India as a big market opportunity in terms of like foreign investment and manufacturing and economic production, but these content creators are in the service sector basically equivalent, and what they're also finding here is a large market, and people who are willing to absorb their ideas and thoughts and also share with them. And this is the whole idea of the digital connectivity, isn't it? To have mutual sharing and mutual benefit, and that's what India is providing. Anyone else wants to come in on the social media question and what you think is happening? Yes, please.
So hello, my name is Stefan and I'm from France. And even from France, I have a lot of Indian guy following me on YouTube and even on Instagram, because India is quite a techie country, and you love tech stuff and new smartphones, and in the streets you can have hotspot from everywhere and new phones and new technology from everywhere. So it's quite impressive. I am following too some Indian guy like Tech Guru. He's kind of a huge guy in YouTube, and yeah, it's great because everyone in India is pretty kind. Other guy told me that, but it's pretty great. Tech industry in India is huge. You love to share, you love to enjoy, and as a French guy, a European guy, you bring to us some kind of fresh air in this industry to reviewing stuff and to enjoy the technology from another eyesight than us, and it's great.
Wow, thank you. So our friend from France viewers is saying that India brings variety and some unique value addition to the content that they are creating and also to the global discourse. And he mentioned technology, and of course that is one area where India is rising fast and is making giant strides. Viewers, you will be happy to know that India is now ranked 39th in the Global Innovation Index. It was 81st in 2015. So in about 10 years, or roughly 9 to 10 years, we have jumped something like 42 positions. There's also the Science and Technology Cluster of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, where India is now ranked 4th. So while there is still a long way for us to go in terms of scientific R&D and technological R&D and manufacturing, that is still our goal, make in India and all those things. There are some cutting edge innovations happening right here in India. And a lot of the audience here who is with us today, our special group of content creators, are into tech. And they have been, some of them have already visited very interesting technological centers of excellence in India and are seeing some very, very outstanding breakthrough ideas that are coming. So let me take you up on that question. You know, there is a stereotype of India as a cliche of India as a land of snake charmers and bullock carts and of being quote unquote technologically very backward. And then now, especially in the last 10 years, we're seeing a kind of like a leapfrogging growth. There's a lot of emphasis the government has also placed on encouraging startups, entrepreneurship, and many of them are connecting with all of you and with techies in your countries also. And they're doing very innovative stuff. So would you like to come in and reflect more on the technology scene, what you've seen in India and what you expect in India? Would someone like to come in on that, please? Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So, is this on? Thank you so much. Linda Lowry. I'm from Seattle, Washington, USA. And I have a column in Seattle Magazine and on Como News called Social in Seattle. I also write for Seattle Dining Magazine, and I'm a director at a nonprofit called Year Up, which helps bridge the opportunity divide in the U.S. And we were very lucky enough to visit two of your tech innovative companies here in India, one of them being T-Hub in Hyderabad. And I was able to speak to your CEO there. And he really provided some really amazing insight as to what is happening here in India and around the world. And one of the questions that I asked him is like, what can we do to further our tech advance throughout the world? And he said collaboration.
Yes.
And that T-Hub was all about collaboration. And I asked him, well, how do we do that? And he said through communication. Just ask, reach out to us in India, and we're happy to collaborate. And another tech advanced company that we visited was Skyroot. And they just had their first private launch of Vikram recently, which is amazing, which is the first private launch rocket in the world.
Yes, yes.
And so one of the things that I was really impressed by Skyroot as well is that all of their technology is manufactured right there within like yards from each other. So they were able to get all their parts from like across the street, they said. And I think that's such an advantage in India to have that manufacturing capability right there instead of having to go across the country to source your materials. And recently, I don't know if you're familiar with Salesforce. It is a American-owned company that's a CRM SaaS solution. And Mark Benoit, the founder of Salesforce and the owner of Salesforce, he just mentioned he had this huge conference called Dreamforce in San Francisco recently. And he announced that we are entering into the India era.
Wow.
And tech. And so he and his company is heavily invested in India tech recently. So, I mean, I'm really excited to visit those places and excited to see what's to come in the future in the tech, because it truly is the India era.
The India era. Our friend from Seattle, USA says this is the India era. She's quoting tech gurus. Viewers, you will be happy to know, and you personally, we have recently opened a consulate in Seattle. The Indian consulate is open, and they are actually working on technology transfer and technology cooperation, exactly what you're saying, under our Ministry of External Affairs to enhance the linkages, because the west coast of the US we know has some unique advantages. It's not just California, it's beyond that. So we're really looking forward to the Seattle connection to grow stronger. And of course, tech is what is bringing the two countries together. US India, we have a critical emerging technologies partnership. It's the most advanced, in one of the most advanced in the world, and we're working on AI and quantum and semiconductors. Our Prime Minister was in the US recently, and he met with all the tech CEOs one more time to reinforce the message. So yeah, it's a mutually beneficial thing, and it's something that will take us very far. So I really appreciate this. And you also mentioned the resources. It's so interesting. Folks, as social media influencers, you will be happy to know we also do a lot of what we call frugal innovation, right? As a developing country which doesn't have the same kind of resources or private or public sector investment in tech, we still do a lot of frugal innovation and make do with very less. We have a term for this in Hindi called jugaad. It basically means working around the problems without a lot of resources, but with a lot of innovation and with problem solving intent, right? So our space program, for example, which is a matter of great pride for us, when we did the lunar mission Chandrayaan-3, the first country to land on the south pole of the moon, the approximate budget for that space mission was $75 million US. Okay, and it has been repeatedly pointed out that it's not even half the budget of the Hollywood science fiction blockbuster Interstellar, which had a budget of $175 million, right? So that frugal innovation is also something I hope you're noticing. And it goes back to the original point Tim had made at the start about Indians being very inventive and because of the hardship and the struggle of a developing country where you're coming up the hard way, you really want to utilize every little scrap that's around, be it a physical thing or a digital content, and then make use of it. And that's something I think it stands out. Does anyone want to come in more on the tech, because many of you are into technology, and what you think is India's attributes and how you can collaborate more with your peers and counterparts here in India?
Hello, I'm Saskia Otto. I work at a UK think tank called the Fabian Society, which has, of course, a long history with India as well. We actually haven't toured Indian tech companies yet, but I work with Indian tech companies in the UK. Mm-hmm. Earlier this year, I chaired a dinner in the UK Houses of Parliament, which included members of Parliament and members of the House of Lords, an Indian tech company called HCL Tech, and also the Indian High Commission. Indian technology is, all over the UK, present in everything from kind of UK companies, UK public services. Something that really resonated with me with what you said was this concept of frugal innovation. So I actually grew up in South Africa, which of course has
similar
strong ties to India, similar stage of development, massive Indian diaspora. And I think this sort of concept of frugal innovation is really powerful, because I think it means that not only do you learn to do a little with a lot, but you also are really, really good at thinking outside the box. Something that I was really struck by, so we haven't actually toured Indian tech companies, but we have toured Indian landmarks. So Qutb Minar, the Taj Mahal, and this is brilliant example of ancient Indian technology and how very, very long time ago, India has already made an important mark in the world.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. And the UK, of course, is a hub for Indian businesses. We invest a lot. We are one of the largest employment generators in the UK. It's not just UK companies being here, but also our companies being there, and makes a huge difference, and including in advanced technologies.
I think India is the second or third largest investor in the UK, and also vice versa. So
Absolutely.
Really important trading partners, which is of course why our Foreign Secretary, one of the first things he did when we came into government is that he came to visit India and kind of spoke about partnering on technologies.
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah, so the UK-India strategic partnership is also growing strong and is being upgraded as we speak. So there's much that's happening there. And the Diaspora, that's our friend from the UK was mentioning the diaspora, and that's also something I want to bring in here. We have a couple of the content creators here who are of Indian origin, but who are domiciled in different countries, and I want to bring in the diaspora element because they are here because of two reasons. One, because they are content creators in social media, but also because they represent a very dynamic force around the world, which is ethnically Indian and which is culturally very closely and emotionally connected to India. Let me bring in our guests from the diaspora and ask them about how their experience of what they are seeing in India and what they are witnessing and experiencing in India, how is it different and unique because of who they are. Yes, ma'am, please.
Hi, I'm Gayatri. I'm a co-founder of IBU Technologies and Themis Technologies. Plus, I'm a founder of Indian Tech Society in the UK. I'm here to represent Tech India Advocate. So what I generally do, I promote Indian technology in UK. I myself is an investor. For sure, I can say I agree with you. There are many Indian companies be generating lots of employment in UK. We also invest a lot. So when it comes to UK and India, so Indians living there, we always try to build a strong relationship with UK and India, and we trying to present the technology from India to the West. We're promoting the technology, Indian technology to the West, and also we're trying to encourage more collaboration.
Could you give an example?
Yeah. So just 1 week before, I did in part of like one of the organizing team, I hosted an event in London Stock Exchange. It's one of the biggest event in investment. So we collaborated with the Bharatiya company. We wanted to promote the Indian technology, Bharatiya, the developing new technologies into climate technology, sustainability, so many other things. So we wanted to promote that technology, but bring the investors like from the globe through UK. So we are partnering with UK to bring the investors to India, plus showcase like how we can bring the new technology, we can solve the problems, specifically into climate technology and the sustainability.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this work. Really appreciate it. Collaboration is the key, and that is where India's strength lies, because we are an open society. We integrate with the global processes. We do not view Western societies, Western people and their systems, their democratic values, all these with any suspicion, unlike authoritarian countries like China. So we have an advantage there, because the world is coming in and wanting to do more with India, and that is of course the big promise for us to grow, become a 10 trillion, 20 trillion, $50 trillion economy in the coming decades, as is projected. This India's era, as one of our friends was saying earlier in the show, for that to happen we need collaboration, and that is critical. Still on the diaspora, I want to also bring in the cultural elements. We've spoken about tech and social media, but many of you are familiar with the rich heritage and history and civilization of this country, and especially those of you who are from the diaspora, you also follow trends like fashion and cinema, music, dance. This is what makes India so attractive, right? And the diaspora is again that bridge that takes the Indian popular culture and then transmits it to the broader Western societies. Can someone else come in from the diaspora about this aspect, about what you are seeing, how India you're seeing is changing, color, style, design, texture, and music, art, and so on. Let's talk a little bit about the softer side of India now.
So, hi everyone, I'm Sharbani. I'm from India, but I'm representing today the Indian diaspora from Germany. So, I am a co-founder of my fashion brand, which is called Anave, and we are actually bridging the gap between fashion and technology. And this is where, we have been talking about technology a lot, and you asked about art, culture, fashion, colors, and I think every time we talk about India, it's a lot about colors, fashion. I think every country is very unique in its fashion, and India, of course, stands out. I still love the Indian attires and everything. So we are making all types of clothes, and especially for people all people. So we say it's fashion for all. So people like you and I, and people also with physical disabilities. So people on a wheelchair, people with some surgery that that's difficult for them to wear, and that's how we are bridging the gap between technology. So we are making clothes which are actually technically very easy to take off and take on. So that is where we are trying to do. And the best part is like we are actually producing in India and in New Delhi itself.
Wow.
So that's why I visit actually Delhi a lot to get the productions ongoing. And this is where you can also see the collaboration part that I'm from a different living in a different country, but I do see the innovation, I do see the trust and the quality of work in India, and that's why we chose to go ahead with India. And coming to the other part, we talked about art and culture. So I'm also a dancer actually, and I'm doing a lot of like Bollywood and dancing all over Europe, and we have also represented in at the FIFA in Qatar. So we are performing all around the globe, and this is where we are bringing the Indian culture and Bollywood to all across the globe. So very happy and very proud to be representing India in these fields, and looking forward to more collaborations actually.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you for being a cultural ambassador. Culture is something that is universal, viewers. Even though India, we pride in our unique, civilizational values and ethos, there's also something universal about them. And that's why we are able to draw in so many people from around the world to appreciate and like India and what we stand for and our values and ethos. And an interesting point that also came up was about cinema, and I want to also take that up because it's often a most popular and easiest means by which the world connects to India. And I'm pretty sure you watch Indian movies and follow them, and I'd like to know how people in your countries perceive Indian movies. And it's not just the Bollywood, it's also we have regional cinema now, especially our South Indian cinema is very strong, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam and all that. So, and they're all being, thanks to technology, widely available now globally. And it's not just the diaspora, it's gone beyond it. And I often hear, the first thing I hear from the taxi driver, no matter which part of the world I land in, is, you're from India, and then they mention some movie stars, and I don't think there's a developing country. Probably Nigeria in Africa is also a big producer of films, and they call it Nollywood. But otherwise, I can't think of another developing country with such a strong popular cinema base, an industry that goes out. Would anyone want to come in on your experience of Indian movies, and how does that fit into your work? And have you been using any themes or songs or dances from our popular media, which may be helping to influence other people in your countries?
Hi, I am Kyle. I'm actually based in Mumbai right now until the beginning of next year, filming some Indian movies, mostly Tollywood movies. Most people don't realize this, that we say Bollywood for all of India, but Tollywood right now is killing it. RRR, which a lot of us know of, Tollywood.
Yes.
I'm filming a movie with a guy named Yesh in Gitu. Great filmmakers, giant movie. They'll bring in experts from all over the world, stuntmen, actors, composers, but most of the talent is from India, and they're right there. They're right. We come in and we start acting and producing with these people, and they're right on the ball. There is no lack of skill here. And they're pulling their influences from all over the world, which, to be honest, Hollywood isn't doing. Tollywood, Bollywood, they have a personality. They have fun making it. Jawan, that guy lights his cigarette while he's riding a motorcycle with his boot doing a U-turn. That doesn't exist anywhere in the world. Hollywood cannot have fun like that. So it's really fun to be in Bollywood where they're like, you know what, physics aren't going to exist in this scene. Let's just have fun with that. Is that cool with everyone?
They say gravity defying stunts and all that. No, thank you, Kyle. So there's some things about our movie makers and their creativity and their imagination that really fascinates a lot of people around the world. It can at times be unrealistic, but it's just so different from what people, especially in Western countries, are used to seeing. So I think it really cuts through and impresses a lot of them. So that's one area where we are going. But let me also bring in our heritage and history. Viewers, this group, some of them have already been visiting historical monuments and ancient temples and so on across India, and they are also getting to see a lot of the grandeur of India, the way it was, the wonder that was India, and which we are still trying to preserve and rejuvenate. Some of you are into tourism and travel, and you're avid bloggers, and you create all these social media reels about this. Could someone come in on this aspect? What you're seeing, obviously these are extraordinary works of craft and art that go back like thousands of years, right? But how is it that you see this as enriching your own self and your own life to be able to witness and see all these things, and how are you going to be able to use those in your content creation going forward? I'm sure you've been like recording a lot of stuff while you are at these monuments. Would you like to come in on the historical side of India as well?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jake Bramiller, and I'm a travel content creator originally from Buffalo, New York, in the U.S. And this is my first time in India, but it's been really eye-opening for me. I think it's broken a lot of the cliches I've had in my mind about India, because I think growing up in the U.S. is almost a negative view towards India in some ways, in some aspects from Hollywood movies and things. But I think even when I was told people I was coming here, they asked me questions about why I would want to visit India and things like that. But I want to come and see it for myself and understand that India has so much to offer. And we've been to Telangana and Kerala, and we rode on the waters in Kerala, and we saw T-Hub and the technology in Hyderabad. And now we're in Delhi, and we went to the Taj Mahal in Agra. And everything has been so eye-opening to me, and showing different parts of India and the history and the culture. And honestly, everyone has been so welcoming to us, so hospitable. And there's just such an energy about India that when you walk on the streets, everyone wants to say hello. Everyone wants to talk to you and learn from you and take pictures with you, because they're so open to the Western world. And going to the heritage sites has been otherworldly to me. And it's really opened my eyes to how much India can influence the world. And I'll definitely use it in my reels and my videos on YouTube and Instagram to show why would I want to visit India, because it's amazing, and there's different languages and people, and just the energy of India is incredible. So the culture has been such an eye-opening experience for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Our friend from the US is saying that there's something about the heritage and the culture that's very attractive, viewers, and we know it, and sometimes we fall short in projecting it well enough. But these kinds of efforts, like what the Ministry of External Affairs is doing by bringing in content creators, is meant to expose them to the incredible India, as our friend was just saying. In fact, that is the tagline of our tourism promotion as well. We don't get as many tourists as we deserve. That is the factual reality, and we are trying to change that. There are a lot of stereotypes that we just heard about, and we have to overcome them. But I'm so glad that the ones who are here and are witnessing it are taking away lots of positive things. Okay, let me move to another domain now. We are, you all come from countries with whom India has strong relationships and at the official level, but you represent the society. You are in many ways the domain leaders in the society, because you are in social media, and which is the virtual public square, as they call it today. And I'd like you to come up with any ideas or thoughts on how we can further enhance the linkages between people of India and people in your country, especially using digital means. You're all involved in this field. How can we further increase the engagement and the familiarity about India in your countries? I'm sure there are some who, out of interest and curiosity, or who out of sheer pursuit of knowledge, would know a lot about India in your countries. But there are probably millions more who don't know much, and who maybe only have just an acquaintance, or have heard about it, or may have met somebody. So how can we reach out to a larger group of people in your countries to make them see the real India or the India story as we are talking about? Anyone would like to come in on what more we can do to make India known better and understood better in your countries?
Hi, my name is Dee. I'm from the UK and Ireland, and I work in healthcare technology, specifically in the UK NHS. And I think more and more that we will be seeing in European startups the outsourcing of software engineering to India. And that means that our colleagues will be from India, and we will learn about India and Indian culture through our colleagues in a post-pandemic hybrid world where we can work remotely with colleagues in India.
Wow. So the American companies have done a lot of it, but now you're saying Irish, the European ones will also move in that direction.
I expect so, yeah, so that European startups can extend their runway and their productivity.
Yeah. So the workplace relationships and the professional linkages that will develop as a result of this, you're saying will make more people back home know about India.
I think so, yeah.
Our techies are, of course, a prominent immigrant community in many of these countries. So to an extent, they would be known for that reason, right? But you're talking about more deeper economic exchange, which will create these possibilities.
Yeah.
So so thank you. So our workers have this skill and talent and reputation for being very hard, and being very diligent, and that is what has often stood out. And would anyone else want to come in on how we can further enhance the familiarity and the deeper understanding of India in your countries? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm from San Diego, California. I am a content creator, mostly in travel. So one of the things that I try to prioritize in my content is travel education. So accessibility of India, how to get a visa to India. I think that can become a barrier to tourists because it seemingly is not as simple of a process as people might think, but really it's very simple. The online website is very helpful. So trying to break down some of those barriers that prevent tourists from thinking that this is an easy country to visit. It's very safe when you have the education to access the country. And with the different tour companies that we've been paired with on this trip, we felt very safe, very attended to. Everyone is always watching for us. So that's another piece of getting tourists to visit India, is making sure that they understand the assets that are available to them. Even at the Taj Mahal, there were some very interesting accessibility features for wheelchair users and things like that to make it an easy place for everyone to visit. So I think that's very important in our conversations with our followers online, is breaking down some of those tourism barriers.
Thank you so much. Tourism is one area where we would need many more footfalls in this country. Just the breadth and the diversity of places to see, from the high Himalayas to the pristine beaches of the Andamans. It's like a whole range, and it's extraordinary experiences, but it just hasn't gotten the kind of traction that some other Asian countries, for example, have. So we would like to change that, and one way of doing it is through these kind of positive word of mouth, and also the tour and travel section. We need to strengthen that. Okay, so viewers, we have so far spoken about so many different aspects about India and how it's connecting to the countries represented here in this special audience with me. Let me move to the question about Asia and Asia as a whole. Asia is a big continent, and India is rising fast, but there's also China, which is a big power, and then there's Japan and Korea and a few other prominent countries. Historically, in the Western imagination, in the Western discourse, both in the US and in Europe, Asia only meant China, Japan, and Korea, because they had like alliances with those countries and all. But now, and they were much quicker to grow economically and to industrialize and modernize. So India is now catching up fast with them. So has this message gone out enough in your countries, or even in your social media engagements, that Asia is much more beyond just China and Japan and Korea? and that India is also there. You know, do you come across more consciousness and thinking about India and awareness about India online, especially with people you are engaging with, and what more can we do for India to be known better, you know, in your societies? Can anyone come in on this?
Hi, my name is Alex Shadbolt. I'm from the UK. I'm a tech investor, so I work in a venture capital firm based in London. And we're increasingly looking to Asia, but India specifically, for tech hubs and innovation centers. And we're finding some awesome startups and spin-outs, especially from the university ecosystems, which are so strong. So the institutes of technology based kind of around the country, we're seeing, you know, awesome entrepreneurs come and solving big problems. I think, you know, there's massive climate risk, and climate change is a huge challenge for us to all meet, but it's also a massive opportunity. And especially for somewhere like India, kind of going through this really, you know, crazy period of infrastructural development, to build in a climate positive attitude and having people innovate around that is super exciting. And that's a lot of the narrative that we see in the UK, a kind of next generation of climate conscious innovators that are doing awesome stuff for green infrastructure and protecting the planet that we inhabit. So that's a narrative that's come out really strongly recently.
Thank you for bringing up the climate question. Our friend from the UK is talking about it, viewers. We take pride in the fact that we are a leader in the G20 group of nations in terms of fulfilling our commitments for the planet, in terms of moving towards green, and in terms of adaptation and sustainability and all these things. Many of the goals, India is ahead of the targets, but we have a long way to go. It's 1.5 billion people, and you know, we do have environmental crisis. It cannot be denied. So we need to do a lot more for this. And here also, the collaboration with our partners and our friends abroad is going to matter, because a lot of the transition to green for our industry and for our agriculture, for our economy, all these depend on ideas and know-how that have already been developed in richer countries, in more advanced countries. So we really look forward to these tech based innovative climate solutions, and I think this is an important area of work. Anyone else wants to come in on whether India is there enough in your societies, or we need to do more? Can we hear from anyone else, please? Yes, ma'am, please.
Hi, my name is Lena. I'm from San Francisco Bay Area, California, and I grew up in Indonesia, so I have a high influence in Indian culture. Growing up, I learned about the Hinduism, about the architecture and all of those, about India and everything. But when I moved to the United States, and I'm pretty aware about the tourism of the India, but what I've seen out there are Jaipur, Agra with the Taj Mahal and everything. But when I arrived here, and we're going to Hyderabad, and collaborating with their tourism board, and then we went to Kerala, and again collaborating with their tourism board, and seen a lot, like the Jew culture, the preservation of Jew culture, the fishing net and everything. I realized how little people know about India, because they're just so focused in Agra, Taj Mahal, and it's beautiful, but there are a lot other things that need to be highlighted and deserve to be highlighted. And I think the partnership with all of these small tourism board from all different states of India is really beneficial for us, educating us as a traveler as well, to understand India even more. And yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you. No, that's very valuable. India is not just the Taj Mahal, viewers, and rightly said by a friend who's of Indonesian origin. Very interesting. You know, we have a lot of cultural similarities with Southeast Asian countries, but now there is a diaspora in Europe and in the US also. So it's all linked up. It's a big global melting pot, and we are there. We are right there in the middle. And a lot of these, you know, sightseeing visits and so on will hopefully help people realize that India has got a lot of breadth and depth, as I said, in terms of tourism and travel, beyond just the most obvious famous monuments. Appreciate that. Okay, folks, we are getting close towards the end of the show, and what I want now is, shorter responses from you about overall, how will you tell the India story? Your storytellers, your content creators, you're very unique 21st century, tribe. There was no such thing called a content creator even like 20 years ago, but you are like the avant-garde. You are, at the cutting edge, and you're doing things which actually set the trend for and drive the public discourse and the public imagination. So going back from what all you have seen and accumulated here, and how will you tell the India story back home and to your increasingly global followers on your social media handles? How do you intend to tell the India story? What did you come in thinking about India, and what is it that you're seeing right now that will maybe change some assumptions or some beliefs or some way in which you want to project or present this country? How will you tell the India story? I'm asking the storytellers.
So hi again, I'm Stefan. The things that I'm just remember after India is that maybe for many years India was following other countries. You were following England, you were following China, you are following Japan. But now, and from many years now, you are trying to make your own way. You talk about the lunar mission. We talk about the technology industry, and you are trying to not just to follow other countries, but to really to try to make your own way. And that's why now you are rising that much. You are developing your own culture. You are developing your own technological area with lunar missions and other stuff. And that's why now in the world you are rising that much. And I think that we need to talk about that as influencers. You are not just another Asian country. You are India with its own way.
Thank you. Really, heartfelt. I think the point our friend from France is making is that India can be a leader in certain areas and fields, and it's not a follower. That's a very important. I mean, social media, everyone is a follower of somebody else, but I'm here talking about country as a whole, and we are not following anybody else's model, but we are carving out our own indigenous model of growth and prosperity and of civilizational revival and all those things. So very important and well taken. Anyone else would like to come in? How do you plan to narrate this experience when you go back or on your online platforms? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Asa Olson. I'm a travel content creator from California, United States. And I would tell how much India has to offer, how much variety of things experience we have here. And some of them are so unique that you might not find anywhere in the world. And we've been here over a week. And especially one experience that I remembered is we took a houseboat ride that was something that I never seen before. It's a beautiful boat made for family to stay there while on the river, while on water, with all the beautiful decorations, all the beautiful details, incredible amenities. And another thing that stood out there, we tried authentic Kerala traditional food.
Wow.
So we ate with our bare hands on banana leaf. And that was something that I've never seen even on videos. And that was very unique. And if you want to find some authentic experiences, something very new, you definitely need to go there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, authentic. So incredible India is also authentic India, viewers. That's what our friend from the US is saying. And of course, yes, Kerala is, they say, God's own country. That's the tagline. And there's something really spectacular which you'll carry throughout your lives. Okay, any other points of view on what you've experienced and what you want to bring through in your storytelling and your narratives? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Rosanna, and I'm a travel content creator. I'm from San Francisco, California. For me, I would say when I told people that I was coming to India, they told me, "Oh, it's very beautiful, but be careful." And I say that every place people say negative and positive things about it, but you won't really know what it's like until you experience it yourself. So when I came here, I can say that the people here are so welcoming. Like I met people on the plane, like when I came here, and we just laughed and we became quick friends. The hotel staff and our guides are so knowledgeable, and they would tell us, "Don't worry about it, we'll take care of you." So I felt very safe, and the landscape and architecture here is incredible. Besides the Taj Mahal, all the architecture was amazing, like the Charminar monument and the Atharapalli waterfall. Like it was super beautiful, super green, and I wish I heard about all these places more. And I think everyone should see what India has to offer, and more people should see these places. And I wish I saw these places as well on social media more. I would be planning my itinerary here to come, like, to be inspired. So I would say, you know, if you're into the outdoors, if you're into architecture, India has so much of it, and it's more than what Lena said. It's more than just the Taj Mahal. There's just so much to do, and I feel like our trip is almost ending, and it should be longer because I want to do more.
You should come back. You should come back.
I want to come back.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so our friend from the US is saying, viewers, that seeing is believing. You know, there are a lot of negative perceptions and misperceptions about India, but seeing is believing, experiencing is believing, and therefore these kinds of visits being organized by the Public Diplomacy Division of the Ministry of External Affairs is so important, because that's how the world gets to know through influential people like this audience here that when you actually come down here, there's probably a lot more that's positive than negative. So that's very important. Let me close the show with some quick comments for those who haven't spoken about what India means to them now. I mean, after being here and after seeing all this, what India means to them now. Quick comments, please come in. Yes, sir.
So hi, my name's Toby, and I work for a company called Teens in AI. So I've had a long consultancy career in tech, often working with the big Indian consultancies like Tata and HCL, etc., Tech Mahindra, and I've decided to leave that corporate world behind, and I now work for an organisation that helps young teenagers get involved within AI and machine learning, etc., and really trying to light that fire. And having worked with so many Indian companies over the course of my career, I just think it would be great for us to come over here. So that's why we're here, to sort of look at all the ability and the talent is there, but it's also the hard work, and we're just trying to maybe light a fire, and also getting to see the amazing history and everything else has just been fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. Lighting a fire, that's a nice phrase. Would someone else want to come in, please? Yes, sir.
Hey, Tejas here from the UK in Manchester. I've lived here for 18 years and moved to the UK when I was 18. I think there's a few things. The first one is India's always been a global power. We have a very rich history of, having a lot of influence in the world. We're kind of finding our identity back to there. So we need to change the narrative from what we have right now, where we're trying to find our feet, to we're trying to find our way back to where we were, which was being a global power. And I think that narrative change is very important. Obviously, there's a different narrative in the Western media, but we are increasingly finding our feet. And within tech, it's very, very evident. So I lead strategic partnerships for a company called Wakelet. I'm also tech ambassador for the Aspen Institute in the UK. And increasingly, I see there's an influence from the immigrant cohort from India, not just in the UK, but in the US as well. A lot of key decisions with innovation in AI, tech leadership in AI coming from Indian immigrants, influencing those decisions. So I think it's important we keep in mind as well the advancements we are making as a country, the influence we are pouring into tech. And yeah, change the narrative from our end, connect more with our identity as a nation, where we were, where we're going. I think it's a very bright future for India, and I'm excited.
Thank you for your work, my friend. Again, from the diaspora in the UK, Indian identity, one way of looking at it is it's eternal and has, continuous existing civilization for 3,000 years. The other way of looking at it is, it's a very transformative era we are living in, digital, tech, all these things. The speed of the technological transformation is so high that what India is today is not what it was even like 15, 20 years ago. The rapidity of the change, transformation is there, and our friends from all these countries are showing us. So viewers, a fascinating discussion with 22 content creators from 6 countries. It's been a real journey. We have covered a lot of issues, but the sum of it is that there is an India that is appealing and attractive to the world, and especially in the Western societies, our openness, our democracy, our pluralism, our universal values, all these are what really cement people to people linkages between us and these Western countries. These social media influencers who are on this India tour under the Ministry of External Affairs aegis are actually going to take back their experiences and further mold and shape public discourse and imagination around the world. And the India story, or the India narrative, or the India era, as we spoke about today, has just begun in many ways. And these pioneers, I want to thank them all for what they are doing and for being our de facto cultural ambassadors in your respective countries, and also in the global cyberspace where you are all giants. And we want this collaboration to continue and to grow. Thank you so much for being here in India and for appreciating this great country. Viewers, India through international eyes is a constant work in progress. We are working on this, and we believe that through these kind of constructive and structured engagements with influential people around the world, we can actually better narrate the India story and bring about the Indian century, as we call it. So it's just begun, and we seek your support and help to spread the message. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time. Until then, take care.